Hi everyone, Cal here. Today we're going to look at the top 10 D1 exotic armor pieces that should be brought back in D2. Before we get started, I know there's some out there that get turned off of the idea of old exotics. They say things like recycled content, blah 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 blah. I happen to think that bringing previous things back is a good idea if done with care. Whether that be weapons, armor, or even old Crucible maps. All these things exist in the same universe, so it only makes sense that we quote-unquote find them again. And Bungie is smart to change things. It would be lame to bring back something as is. They know this. Notice how when something old is reintroduced, it gets overhauled, sometimes completely, in order to fit into D2's metagame. And lately, John Wisniewski and his team have been giving exotics huge steroid-induced buffs, making them a heck of a lot more powerful than anything we've ever seen before in either D1 or D2. And that's what I aim to do here. The 10 that I'm picking range from old favorites that could feel right at home with the new time to kill and weapon system changes, to underused pieces that deserve a second chance with new abilities. Most of which I'll explain how they could change in order to complement our current arsenal. I don't expect all of these to be included in Forsaken and beyond, but some of them would be cool. And I hope to give the devs fun ideas in the process, assuming any of them even see this at all. Starting with number 10, the Voidfang vestments for Warlocks. The exotic perk granted full grenade energy Axion bolts on each revive. This includes respawning yourself or when a teammate resurrects you. In D2, this could not only apply to all the different bolt grenades, but any grenade. Here's what I'm envisioning. Let's say you're playing the new Breakthrough game type. This is the Overwatch-esque mode where when a central zone is captured by one team, a second zone on the other team's side must be captured to win. You're on the defending team. Picture two groups of similar skill where they seem to be trading kill for kill. You, being the smart warlock that you are, decide to put on the vestment so that when you respawn and you need to rush to defend your zone, you also have a grenade at the ready. Also remember that we learned in last week's combat reveal stream that all ability damage is getting buffed. I think that means this is a good time to bring this exotic back. Moving on to number 9, let's talk about the Peregrine Greaves for Titans. The perk here is pretty short and sweet. You get a massive damage multiplier when you activate Shoulder Charge in the air. Now correct me if I'm wrong, if I remember correctly that multiplier was something like ×4. It was initially thought of as a throwaway PvE only perk, but Crucible trolls soon realized these suckers were proficient at shutting down roaming supers with overshields, like Radiance or Arcblade. Remember in the reveal stream where the Titan couldn't take down the Warlock that popped its Well of Radiance? I can definitely see the Greaves taking that Warlock down, easy peasy. I would have them work with all the 3 different types of charges too. Number 8. Radiant Dance Machines for Hunters. The Dance Machines are a mobility enhancing set of boots, giving a boost to walking movement while aiming down the sights of your weapon. Big deal, I hear you PvE people say. That sounds like something only PvP Elo Sweatlords care about, and, well, you're not wrong. Strafing is really only something that'll benefit you in a one-on-one fight against another Guardian, if you can master the technique of strafing and shooting at the same time. Okay, let's sprinkle some space magic enhancing dust on these and make them better for D2. The Dance Machines also gave agility boosts based on energy double kills. Let's change that to when you get an ability kill, you gain infinite dodge energy for a brief time, say 5 to 8 seconds. I think that would do the trick. Why stop there though? The old Frosties gave you a tighter turn radius while sprinting, and since those have already been brought back without that feature, let's throw that on the Dance Machines for good measure. Sound good? For number 7, let's take a look at another Titan exotic, the Helm of Inmost Light. This gave Death from Above and Headstrong for free, letting you allocate your skill selections elsewhere. Because that can't work in D2's class system, this exotic will probably have to change the most on this list. Let's make it a Code of the Missile exclusive exotic, since that skill path is the most like the OG Striker. I would let the Helm give Strikers an additional melee charge for the revamped Death from Above attack, now called Ballistic Slam, and then, to spice everything up, increase the blast radius of both the melee and the new super, Thunder Crash. Number 6, the Heart of the Praxic Fire for Warlocks. Remember popping Radiance and running around slapping things while your melee energy rapidly recharged? Yeah, me too. I miss that. Let's bring it back. Its exotic perk might read something like this. While standing in Well of Radiance, your melee damage is increased and recharges extremely fast. Killing enemies with your melee extends the duration of Well of Radiance. The original Radiance melee attacks were one-hit kills, and I would have them be the same in D2. Good luck to anyone wanting to get into a fist fight with you while you're in that rift. After making that a feature, I realized that it still lacked something special, and the increased duration almost instantly came to mind. This would be an excellent perk to have in PvE, where trash mobs would mindlessly enter your rift, giving extended time for you and your allies, who may be working on boss DPS at the same time. Number 5. Purifier Robes for Warlocks. Again, this is another Radiance exotic, but one that I think deserves another chance, as it really wasn't ever that great to begin with. In D1, it blinded enemies, but only when Radiance was activated from death. It was pretty niche, and since there's so many better, more active options, this would also need to become more aggressive. To continue the theme of a blinding flash of radiant light, the robes could blind and disorient nearby enemies when Well of Radiance is activated. I wouldn't stop there though, because I'm not a fan of exotics that only benefit your super abilities. I feel it should also have this effect when your normal rift is activated. Now, before people start screaming Gemini Jesters, these would differ in that, like flashbang grenades, the enemy must be in line of sight to be blinded. Additionally, I hesitate to equate these to the Jesters because rifts take significantly longer to cool down than dodge does. Number 4. The Mask of the Third Man for Hunters. In D1, this exotic simply made each swipe of Arc Blade cost less energy. It was excellent in PvE for rank and file enemies, and then in PvP, it increased the possibility of achieving 7th column. Here's the thing though, Arcstrider, D2's equivalent to Blade Dancer, already has an exotic armor piece that does something very similar, the Raiden Flux. But here's what I'm thinking. What if this was brought back, not for Arcstrider, but for the new Night Stalker subclass, Way of the Wraith? Its new super, Spectral Blades, is very similar to Arcblade, with the exception of the True Sight effect. Recall that Spectral Blades causes you to immediately go invisible when the super is cast. Instead of reducing swipe cost, let's say this exotic significantly reduces the amount of energy spent while invisible. Imagine popping this on spawn in a Crucible map and having enough time to infiltrate the enemy's location. Phew, we've made it to the top. Exotic number 3. The Nothing Manacles for Warlocks. These gauntlets improved scatter grenades by giving them tracking. Scatter nades in D2 already have a tracking option via the top tree charging mechanic. So, my main idea would be to reduce the duration of the charge time and then give an extra grenade charge when using Attunement of Chaos. The charge time reduction could bring it down from approximately 1 second to 0.3 or 0.5 seconds. Additionally, the charge animation also exists on the bottom tree path in the form of the grenade consumption mechanic, and will also be on the new path which consumes the grenade in order to cause an AoE explosion around your character. It would be pretty cool if the Nothing Manacles reduced those animation times as well. Exotic number 2. Twilight Garrison. Out of the 3 classes, Titans have the least amount of defensive capabilities. Garrison was the first to introduce the in-air dodge effect that was subsequently co-opted for Dawnblade's Attunement of Sky. Warlocks also have Blink, which is great for running away, and of course, Hunters get Dodge. In any online debates over whether Garrison should come back, opponents usually cite how it made Titan skating broken. Well, with the exception of PC, skating isn't really a thing in D2, and I'd be surprised if Bungie didn't nerf PC skating sometime soon. They obviously aren't the biggest fans of that exploit. Because of that, I don't think Garrison would be that broken in D2. Remember also that being an exotic means Titans would have to choose between extra mobility versus another armor like Syntheseps. If I had a choice, I'd go for the exotic that gives me more mobility options, but that's just me. I don't want to feel forced to fight, even if I know I'm going to lose. And finally, we have exotic number 1, the No Backup Plans. Now that D2 is getting a weapon slot overhaul and time to kill reduction, No Backup Plans would fit perfectly. When your melee energy was full, shotgun kills would count as a melee, giving you an overshield. I wouldn't change a thing about that, as it sounds borderline OP when considering that overshields can also be given to allies who are close to you when you get the kill. If this was reintroduced, it would make Titans great again. And there you have it. Like I said before, I don't expect all of these to be reintroduced, but I feel a number of them would fit well in the new meta. If you agreed with this list, do me a favor and leave a like, and also click on subscribe because I told you to. Nah, but it would be greatly appreciated, as it would go a long way to supporting this channel. What D1 exotics would you like to see introduced? And how would you change them? Let me know in the comments. Well, that's all I got. See you next time. This has been Cal. Have a good one.